Tuesday evening, we did our thing. We went to, did we go anywhere? I don't know if we went anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Um, by the way, it was like Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. My middle son was like vomiting overnight. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what happened. Like this is weird. And so I, of course, took care of him because my wife has taken care of a newborn. So, um, and then Thursday, I want to say it was Thursday. Um, it was like middle of the afternoon. Something feels weird. And then I just started vomiting. It was terrible.
Oh,
Like just uh, on and off for um 12 hours almost. It was somewhere around 5 o'clock the next morning. So maybe it wasn't maybe it was no, it was Thursday. Or it was Thursday, I specifically remember because I was supposed to talk with a client and I was like I literally texted them on the bathroom floor. I was like, I'm on the bathroom floor vomiting right now. I can't talk.
you didn't just like pull up the computer and just like, all right, so
Here's what I think we should do. Ignore all of the vomiting sounds that I'm creating right now. Um, but so um all of that happened on Thursday, and everyone, like my manager was bringing us food for the next day. I couldn't meet her at the door because I was vomiting in the bathroom.
uh,
Like it was all bad. And um, I ran past my kids. Our bathroom is split where there's like a separate door for the toilet and the shower, and then there's the vanities on one side.
right.
So I ran past them while they're brushing their teeth so I could get to the toilet and close the
You're
door.
like, let dad puke. We're good. Like,
Everybody be that way.
I'm glad we meet virtually because like I don't deal well with stomach viruses. Like I'm not a puker. Like so like when I throw up, it's just this like it's like when like a dog vomits. Like it's a theatrical like.
I was sore on Saturday from the squeezing of my abdomen.
That's the worst. Like your throat's sore, your like whole body's sore from just like convulsing. Like
It's like, why is my body hurt? I was like, oh, that's right. My everything got flexed and tight
yeah,
several
it's like, all
times.
right, this is a nice abdominal workout. All right.
Yeah, which brings me to kind of what I want to talk about.
Doing planks on your bathroom floor.
Isometrics. So, one of our uh, friends, acquaintances, I guess, I don't know, um, future podcast guest, uh, emphasizes uh, eccentric isometrics. So I get where he's coming from. He means that you should go really slow in the eccentric phase and then hold it for some count. Um,
A
and
good way to be really sore.
so I get it. I understand what he's saying. And he emphasizes 90-degree angles for everything. Um, where like the nomenclature doesn't necessarily work well, right? You can't really do an eccentric isometric. Like you can't move through a hold.
Yeah, like I understand what he's saying, and I don't think there's a better way to describe it. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Like so people gripe about what he's saying there because it's impossible. I'm like, I get what he's doing. I understand it. And his I know that his PhD research was specifically on muscle growth and eccentric iso holds. So like eccentric movement into an iso hold. So he really knows what he's talking about. Um, and uh, which is really what I want to talk about. So I saw this post the other day, um, and I think this is important for our listeners to hear because we don't say this, but um, oftentimes people will say, I researched it.
I know the post you're talking about now. Like,
And I like they're creating some kind of validity to go with that, which doesn't exist. So when people argue about their friend that we're talking about his things, they come from their own biased standpoints, not realizing that he literally researched it.
yeah, like I've mentioned before that like I know when we talked about like warming up the hamstrings before doing a squat, for example, I was like, anecdotally, it works for me. It's great. That's not research. Like that's my own my own I did my research. I worked out legs this morning, so that's fresh on my mind. So like I did my research this morning at 6 a.m. of like I did hamstring curls before my squats. Like that's not research. That's
And I've frequently said on this podcast, I read a study. So they I never say I researched it. I don't know when I stopped doing that. It might have been
when everybody started saying I researched it. That's
yeah, it
and
was
that's not
probably around that time, and also somewhere near the end of my undergraduate studies and moving to Indiana where I was around active researchers all the time. I'm like, I didn't do that. Like I could literally point to a lab and be like, that is not what I'm doing. What um while my wife was completing literature reviews, which are extreme scrutiny over studies. I mean, extreme, like you're looking at who the authors are, you're looking at their sources, you're looking at those authors and their sources to determine validity of a study and should it be used or not used to guide the direction of your own research. Like that's actual research. I've seen all of that. I've never done it. Um,
my favorite research was when I would just screw with a professor I didn't like in my undergrad to cite Wikipedia and papers. She didn't think
uh,
that was funny. I did. I thought it was hilarious.
yeah. And now you can actually get some pretty good stuff off of Wikipedia. I'm not saying like the writing at the top. I'm talking about the sources at the bottom.
Right. Oh
Find some-
yeah. Yeah. If people actually cite their stuff properly, that's actually really good, deep dive stuff if you want to go to specific subjects.
yeah. I remember my biochemistry professor literally told us to go check it out on Wikipedia. He put the Wikipedia link in for some different uh, proteins and enzymatic actions, like the turning and rotations of it. And he put them in there because he wrote that article on Wikipedia. He's he's like, I put it on here because I just figured I'll just put it out
So
for
when you say he wrote the article, he's one of those people that just went in and edited stuff to screw with people. Are nuts.
This is some of my favorite things to do on Wikipedia, though. You can go in, like, it may not last very long. The fun things are, to me, especially since we are who we are, is pro wrestling people, like their names and their bios. Like you can add something that maybe only a couple people know and see how long it stays up there. So, it's always a fun thing to do. It's in your whatever free time you have. I used to do it more often because I used to have more free time. Um,
You mean in between puking and taking care of three kids? Yeah, that's like
yeah,
the free
that's
time.
the near free time. The former free time was there's only one time this like 6 month span when it was post wrestling, post school, and I had moved to Indiana, and all I had was a full time job, and my then girlfriend, now wife, lived an hour away. I didn't know what to do. I was just get done with work. It's like go work out. And then it's like, well, what do I do now? What did I do before?
Yeah, I love having free time. Like I know exactly what to do with free time.
How long ago was this? Uh, it's my free time is how I ended up in beer brewing. Back in college when we were I was driving buses and we had to have 2 pay periods off back to back. And it took my 2 pay periods off during the Christmas break. And um, I uh, had completed finals, everything was done. I cleaned my apartment. It wasn't working because I didn't have, like, I had to take 2 pay periods off. So just didn't have a job. And Ramsey was closed because the university was closed. I was like, well, what do I do? So I started beer brewing. So,
Here we are.
watch out for my free time. It can lead to interesting hobbies in the future. But like I said, that's something I think that our listeners should be aware of. Right here on this podcast and through Franchise Nutrition and Fitness, we frequently cite our sources. We talk to you about what we know, and we like to point out when it's something that's anecdotal. We'll also tell you when we don't know. Right? That's a lot. We get a lot of questions a lot of times, and we just, I don't know.
Yeah, like sometimes it's out of scope of practice. Sometimes, yeah, it's newer stuff out there. And I think it's important that like all of our programming is evidence based as well, because I think there's so many people out there, so many influencers now. It makes me gag to say that, but like that, it's just, hey, this is what works for me. Like people that have really great genetic potential or using ergogenic aids or whatever, like, hey, look at me, like this works for me. Like it drives me nuts anytime I see like a Facebook reel or something like, never do this exercise, or this exercise is the best one ever. Like I stay away from the terms always, never, like unless there's a ton of research out there to do it or not to do it.
Yeah, you can always get back to listen to our best exercise for fat loss episode though, because I stand by everything that we said in there.
Yep.
I'm not gonna give it away, but I can tell you it's heavily backed by a massive amount of both reading, really high quality studies that are all evidence based, and also our personal anecdotal things and anecdotes from everyone that we've ever worked with. I can tell you that that episode is correct. So,
Indeed, I will not argue with that.
but yeah, if you're out there and you're thinking about, I want somebody that is well taught, well learned in nutrition and fitness and can help guide me to my personal nutrition and fitness goals, you landed on the right place. Go to franchisenf.com and sign up for your free meet and greet today. We can go ahead and get started on all those things. But other than that, like we say every week, maximize every bite.
Maximize every rep.